Welcome to this episode of the Maximus Minute. And today, I want to talk to you about the process, the whole process. Everything I do to perform like I do at 45 years old. You know, it's funny. People see me on Instagram, they see me on YouTube, they see me on TikTok, and they assume that I'm on TRT. They assume that I'm on drugs. They assume that I was born with the best genetics of all time because I'm 6'3", 232 pounds, and I'm at 10% body fat. That's measured on a DEXA. Not an in-body, not a bod pod, but the real measure, which is a DEXA. So people assume that I have some type of advantage, some type of edge. However, I post regularly about my schedule. And I want to talk about that because people, they always have a tendency to say that a successful person is lucky, that a successful person has some advantage that they don't. LeBron James, he's genetically gifted. It has nothing to do with the fact that he has played 1,200 hours of basketball for 30 years of his life. It can't be that. It cannot be that simple that literally the man has done 25 hours a week of basketball for his entire life. That's not why he's successful. He was born with a genetic gift. And that's a tendency that we have in society is we always look at successful people and we try to discount their success. Why do we do this? Because it makes us feel better because frankly, we weren't willing to do the work. We weren't willing to make the sacrifices. We weren't willing to show up early and leave late. And that's just reality. So I want to talk to you about my process. Now, I post about it regularly again. People skip over it. They just see the end result and they try to explain it away. So just a little bit of a day-to-day of what I do. And this is stuff that you can incorporate into your life. Now, in full disclosure, I am a professional athlete. My life is based on exercise. I work for Men's Health. I write for various other publications. I make money off my Instagram. So understand this is my job. So I do have an advantage. I'm not sitting at a desk for 8 hours a day. That said, some of these things you will be able to incorporate in your life, and I promise you they will make you better. And not even just in the physical realm, in the psychological realm, in the spiritual realm, in the professional realm, in your marriage. Like this stuff will make you a better person in all aspects of life. And I've seen it save people's lives. So the first thing that I do is I make sure I get 8 hours of sleep a night in a completely blacked out environment. That's really important for a couple of reasons. Number one, when you get 8 hours of sleep, and especially when it's in a blacked out environment, your hormones, the hormone taps are turned on. You will have maximum testosterone. You will have maximum human growth hormone. Your brain capacity will be at its highest. There's been studies that have shown that if a little bit of light hits your skin, it'll start washing melatonin away. You will have less deep of a sleep. Even if you sleep through the night, you will not have the same hormonal response. Some people call this sleep hygiene, but you have to get good sleep. A couple of other things that you can do to increase the quality of your sleep. Sleep in a cold room and make sure your feet are warm. So wear some socks to bed. Have the temperature in the room be 67 or 68 degrees. That can help you. A weighted blanket can really, really help with anxiety. If you suffer from anxiety, take magnesium before bed. My favorite form of magnesium is magnesium citrate. You can also follow the 3-2-1 rule. No food 3 hours before bed, no water 2 hours before bed, and no screens 1 hour before bed. If you were to do all of those things in conjunction and get 8 hours of sleep, you would feel a million times better than you do right now. Now, the thing that always comes up is someone says, hey, I can do the cold room thing. I can do the weighted blanket thing. I can do the magnesium thing, but there's no way I'll get 8 hours of sleep. Yes, you can. It just takes a little bit of sacrifice. You don't need to be watching Monday Night Football till 11:30 at night. If you choose to do that, all you've said is Monday Night Football is more important than your sleep schedule. It's more important than the level of your testosterone. It's more important than you hitting the next day at maximum capacity. You've made an active choice. You don't need to be watching SportsCenter. You don't need to be watching House. You don't need to be watching Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Listen, I love all these shows, but you don't need to be watching them late at night. So you just go to bed. Now, how does that play out for me? I have to be at work for 8 in the morning. I don't like to wake up to an alarm clock. That's another secret. I wake up naturally. And that's where, some people, they'll argue with me about the 8 hour sleep thing. Like, oh, you only need 7.5. I'm okay with 7.5. I'm actually okay with 7 as long as I don't wake up to an alarm clock. So for me to get to work at 8 and understand I've got 3 kids, I've got to get them ready for school. I've got to do, things in the morning around the house. I got to feed the dogs. I got to interact with my wife, blah, 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 blah. That means I want to be up at 6:15, 6:30 at the latest. So if I'm going to wake up at 6:15 or 6:30, and listen, I rarely sleep more than 8 hours. That means I have to be sleeping by 10:30 at night. That means I crawl into bed at 9:45. It's really not that difficult. People are like, well, I have to work. You don't have to work at 9:45 at night. Like, you could have, if you started your workday at 8, you could have put in a 12-hour day and you'd be done at 8 at night. Like, you can still get to bed at 9:45. And before you say, well, I work more than 12 hours a day, you do? 12 hours a day, 5 days a week is 60 hours. You work 60 hours a week? Add Saturday to that, that's 72 hours. You're probably not working that much. Now, are there exceptions to that? Yes, absolutely. There are doctors, there are lawyers trying to hit 2,000 billables a year. I get it. But you can still get sleep. What if you work from 7 a.m. till 9 p.m.? There's 14 hours a day. Still, you can go to bed at 9:45 if sleep's important to you. And if your career's important to you, you'll get more sleep. And I'm going to tell you why. I always use the analogy at seminars that I teach that the bed is the iPhone charger and you're the iPhone. If you don't get a full charge, if you leave the house in the morning with your phone on 20%, 30%, it doesn't work. Like, you're in power save mode. You can't use your camera. You can't listen to music all day. You can't use your Google Maps. You can't use all the things that you want to use. If you leave and your phone's on 100%, that thing will last all day. It's an extremely useful tool. So if you don't get a good night's sleep, you get under, I'm going to say 5 hours, you're leaving on a 20% charge. You can't think you are not productive. There's actually an article on a guy named Jeff Bezos. I don't know if you ever heard of him. He's a mildly successful human. Anyway, he won't make decisions on less than 8 hours sleep a night. Why? Because his brain is what runs Amazon. His brain is the product. His brain is the engine that drives that machine. So he gets 8 hours of sleep. I have an opportunity to speak at Capital Camp. It's some of the best and richest and most successful venture capitalists on the planet. They're all getting a lot of sleep. They're investing in their health. Some of them have cryotherapy chambers in their house. Like, they're doing everything they can to get an edge. And it is a scientific fact. If you're on 8 hours sleep, you'll think better. Your brain functions better, your hormones better, your immune system is better. Like, every single thing about you would be firing on all cylinders. If you went to get surgery right now, would you want a doctor who's sleeping 3 hours a night and just strung out? Or would you want a doctor that's completely well rested and at their best? I mean, we all know what the answer is. In the air traffic control world, there are rules to how much they can make people work because those people need to be at their best. So listen, number one, you're going to get good night's sleep. That sets up everything for me. As long as that is covered, I'm set across the board. Part 2 of the process, no processed food. Process. You get it? Haha, funny pun. But no processed food. So all the food I eat has to be of the highest quality ingredients. I'm not eating Reese peanut butter cups. I'm not eating Starburst. I'm not eating Swedish fish. I'm not eating candies. I'm not eating garbage ice cream. Like, what I put in my body is the best of the best. Now, I follow something called the 90-10 rule. 90% of the food has to be good, healthy, non-processed, hitting my macros, hitting enough protein, like the best of the best. And the 10% left, I can have a little bit of fun. But even when I have fun, I'm not slumming it. Like, I'm eating good stuff. So I'm not going to McDonald's. I'm not going to Burger King. I'm not going to Wendy's. When I want to have a burger and fries, it is real. Like, I go to a fine dining restaurant, like a Gordon Ramsay burger and fries. Like, I'm not eating garbage. And here's the thing. I'm not even asking you to suffer. Like, people are like, oh my God, how do you live? If I had a delicious Gordon Ramsay burger and fries and put that in front of you, and then Burger King in front of you, 9,000 or 9,000 people would pick the Gordon Ramsay burger and fries. or the JPG burger or the Michelin star winning burger. Like, I'm eating good stuff. Pizza. I always use pizza as an example. There's a place in town where I live. They imported their tile from Italy. They import 00 milled flour from Italy. And by the way, the flour they use in Italy is different than the stuff in the United States, but it's a lot better. 00 milled flour. They make their own cheese in-house. They have an Italian deli make their meat. Like, that's a real pizza. You can have that as part of your 10%. Hell, you can have that as part of your 90%. Go to Italy if you've ever been there. It's a Joe Bastianich restaurant, but it's absolutely unreal. I'm a big fan. Go to Italy and have a pizza. Don't go to Little Caesars or Pizza Hut. Ice cream. You have ice cream with like 30 million ingredients. It's not good for you. Ice cream, like Haagen-Dazs, for example, cane sugar, egg yolk, vanilla, and cream. That's ice cream. And you could even go a step further. The ice cream I have is small batch from my town that's made by hand in a person's kitchen. Like, and again, not suffering. You would much rather have that than Breyers or some other garbage brand. So again, I'm not asking you to suffer. I'm just asking you to eat a Michelin star or James Beard diet. Like, you can go. There's a bunch of chefs like I really, really just love. Brooke Williamson, Michael Voltaggio, Viet Pham, Gordon Ramsay, Naisha Arrington. Like, you can go to these people's restaurants and you can eat like a king, and that's on the diet. You're just not eating anything processed. So again, I'm not asking you to suffer. You like Reese peanut butter cups? Great. Throw them in the garbage. You're trash. You could have a real, like a nice imported dark chocolate with some like walnut or cashew butter. You will like it way better. Like, just go gourmet. That's all I'm asking you to do, even when you cheat. So, no processed food. So that's number 2. Number 3, limit your alcohol. I have not been hungover since 2005, maybe 2004. Like, I am drinking maybe 2 or 3 drinks a week. Sometimes I'll go a month without a drink, but the most I will have is 2 to 3 a week, and it's never more than I'm going to say 2 in one sitting. So I'm always firing on all cylinders. And by the way, when I drink, I'm not drinking. If I'm having tequila, I ain't drinking Jose Cuervo. I'm drinking the best of the best. I'm drinking 100% agave. And so maybe that's Don Julio, or maybe it looks like Teremana, because Teremana is an incredible brand. Shout out to The Rock and Danny Garcia, but Teremana is an incredible brand too. So no processed food. So now we've got or no processed booze either. So now we've got the sleep, we got no processed food, sorry, and then we have limiting of alcohol. Number 4, I make time to do some kind of exercise every single day. Now, here's where you might differ from me. You may not have time to take on my exercise schedule. Some would define it as excessive, and I'm the first to admit that. But you do have time to exercise. Could you take a half hour and do some exercise? Yes. Could you take 20 minutes? Yes. Let's say you really don't have time for that. I actually worked with a woman from a company called National Grid. It's one of the biggest private power companies in the world. She lost 60 pounds in 8 months. What did she do? She got a treadmill in her office, and every time she was on this thing phone, she was walking on the treadmill. You walk 5 to 10K a day, just slow while you're on the phone. You will lose weight. You will be a lot better. What if every hour at your desk, you see me sitting in a chair right now, you got up and did 10 squats throughout the day? That's 100 squats a day for a standard 10-hour workday. If you did that every day, by the end of the year, you would have 36,000 squats. Sunday, when you're watching football, I get it. I love football. I want to sit my ass on the couch too. But if I just, every commercial break, just did 10 push-ups and 10 sit-ups, that's it. If I did that every Sunday of the year, by the end of the year, I'd have 5,200 push-ups, 5,200 sit-ups. Like, you can do some form of exercise. You can take a class. You can go for a walk. You can do something. So now we got the sleep, no processed food, limit booze, exercise every single day. Those are the biggest parts of the process. That's it. It really is that simple. And it's funny, in this day and age, the people that think that's extreme. Really? I'm asking you to sleep more. I'm asking you to just feel better, to just be well rested. I'm asking you to eat a Michelin star or a James Beard diet. I'm asking you to just move your body a little bit and just stop yourself from just drinking your face off every night. Like, really? That's what extreme is? That's not extreme. That's just life. And I promise you, the reward is there. You'll be more productive. You will make more money. You will make more sales. You will be happier. Your sex life will be better. Your testosterone will be better. But we don't live in that era, right? We live in an era where everyone, they want you sick. Let's be serious. They want you unhealthy. They want you fat. You know, I read something today that if you eat the carnivore diet, you're looked upon as like an absolute nut job. But yeah, if you eat fast food every meal, you're totally cool. Like that's the world we live in. We also live in a world where people would rather take a pharmaceutical like testosterone or TRT than just get more sleep and eat more red meat and don't eat processed food. Like, really? You would rather pay the money to be on testosterone every month for the rest of your life than just do something to better yourself. By the way, I'm not against TRT or testosterone if you really need it. What I'm against is you're drinking Thursday through Sunday. You don't want to sleep. You want to eat bad food, and then you use that as a Band-Aid solution. That's really my process. That's what I do. Now, do I do other things? Sure. I have a sauna in my house. I have a cold plunge in my house, but you can have cold showers. And as far as the sauna goes, people are like, oh, well, I can't afford a sauna. Spend less money on booze. You're driving around a Tesla. I would rather drive a low end, I don't know, used Toyota Tercel than and have a sauna and a cold plunge in my house than drive a loaded Tesla. Like what? So I can have a nice fancy car to impress people I don't even care about? Like, you know what I care about? My body. It's funny. I always say this. You can buy a Ferrari. You can buy a Porsche to impress other people. You can't buy this body. You got to work for it. You got to earn it. You know, there's a guy that, I don't know his name. I don't know who he is, but he parks near my jiu-jitsu club. And he's got a fancy, fancy, fancy Ferrari. And he gets out of it and the dude's fat. Like, really? How about you spend that money on yourself? Because you're not impressing me. You can't handle the simple, basic task of keeping yourself in shape. So just some food for thought before you say, well, I can't afford a sauna. Well, you probably can. You're probably just spending your money on all kinds of garbage. Stop going to Starbucks every day. Stop eating McDonald's every day. Stop eating Burger King every day. Like, save your money for a year and then buy your sauna. So, yes, I have a sauna. Yes, I have an ice bath. Normatec boots, the massage boots, I have those. But again, that falls into the category of I'd rather have the Normatec massage boots than I would Starbucks every day. Like, I can make my own coffee at home. So, these are all the things I do. And yes, I do have kids. I do have a wife. I do have a life. I play video games all the time. I just actually started playing Spider-Man 2. It's unreal, by the way. I love it. I play Drake Uncharted. I play God of War. I play Magic the Gathering. I shuttle my kids to and fro all the time. There's another thing. Like, I got 3 kids between jiu-jitsu, taekwondo, football, wrestling, the kids' parties. Like, I'm always driving them everywhere. And it's funny, because this is a true story. I'll be on the sideline with the other football dads. And they're like, oh my God, you're jacked. You're shredded. I can't believe you're in such good shape. Like, you must be the luckiest guy in the world. You must have good genetics, blah, 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 blah. I'm doing push-ups on the sideline. I'm doing sprints on the sideline. I'm walking around the sideline. And they're looking at me like I'm crazy. And they can't put 2 and 2 together. Yeah, you're right. It's good genetics. I just did 300 push-ups where you sat there and ate a damn hot dog. And not a good hot dog. Like some garbage hot dog. You know what I mean? So just understand, if you're willing to put some effort in, if you're willing to follow the process, you will be better in every aspect of your life. And believe me, it's worth it. You only have one body. Invest in it. That's where I invest my money. Not cars, not fancy houses, my body. I want the sauna. I want the ice bath. I don't care about the Tesla. Man, I got a Ferrari right here. I got a Lambo right here. I got an F1 McLaren right here. That's it. So yes, and I do have kids, and I do have a wife, and I do have fun, and I do enjoy the hell out of myself. And do I have to make some sacrifices? Sure. And is it hard sometimes? Sure. Other days I don't want to train. Yeah, but I do it. And even if that doesn't feel good, you know what feels really good? When I'm at the supermarket and some woman tells me I'm handsome. When I'm at the supermarket, it feels even better when a guy's like, oh my God, you're stacked. Look at you. You look like a god. That feels really effing good. It feels good when I have the energy to have an all-night love-making session with my wife. It feels good that my wife's attracted to me. It feels good when people compliment me online. It feels good when the other dads, they're in awe of me. It feels good when my kid says, like, Dad, you're not like the other dads. You're awesome. It feels good to win stuff. It feels good when I'm doing my master jiu-jitsu and my hands raised in the air on the podium because I won a gold medal. Like, this stuff all feels great. My wife will tell you the same thing. If she's out and a guy tells her she's beautiful, it feels good. If a woman tells her she's beautiful, it feels even better. Like, it's just, you can invest in this if you're willing to follow the process. And regardless of looks, because yes, I just went down the looks road, you will make more money. You will feel better. You will be happier. You will be healthier. You'll have less depression. You'll have less anxiety. Like, this stuff, I've watched it save people's lives. So that's the process. Are you willing to invest in it? Are you willing to invest in you? And again, you're not suffering. I'm just asking you to live a spa day every day. I'm just asking you to invest in yourself. I'm just asking you to give your body the nourishment and love that it needs and deserves. That's it. Follow the process.